was very interesting in learning a little bit about the different cultures and seeing really what jumped out is the surprisingly consistencies between, no matter where you go in whatever culture, there were still the same basic things that needed to be asked, the same kind of priority questions that needed to rise right to the top, the same basic chief complaints, and the same key questions to get rolling.
He was in respiratory rest when the operational staff got there, and then he made a full recovery. And we invited him to the accreditation presentation. Now, Gwyn Pritchard from the Academy and Bev were there, and we actually met this guy in the foyer, and he just burst out crying, and he gave us a big hug, and we were like, you know, and I mean, I don't do touchy-feely very often. I was like, you know, trying to hold back the tears, and I just thought, well, that's why we do it. It's as simple as that. There's no other explanation of why we do what we do.
To be able to say that we've saved a life, not just as part of the team, but actually independently using pro-Raven instructions is fantastic. So we stop people leaving the world, and we actually help bring people into the world in the form of those, you know, babies we deliver over the phone.
Each thing that, every time we had a problem in the EMS system, it always seemed like if you, like Hansel and Gretel, if you followed the crumbs through the forest, it always led back to the comm center. And there's an old statement that goes something like this: if it goes wrong at dispatch, it goes wrong all the way down the line. It was about that time I thought, wait a minute, what they need is a protocol. Had a handwritten protocol sitting on the desk at Fire Station 2, and we thought, now what are we going to do with it?
What kinds of resources did the EMTs need? How are they going to be dispatched? And all those issues were starting to become issues around the country. And while the solutions weren't totally clear in the early 1990s, in other words, were you going to have 10,000-hour paramedics or 200-hour intermediates, there still needed to be a system to sort out how you would choose the resources to send to a given call. So again, Jeff was clearly on the cutting edge of the issues that were going to be very important, I thought, to EMS.
And a lot of agencies over time were realizing they had a high quality for medical calls, but yet for those seldom used skills dealing with fire incidents, it was truly a difference in how information was received from the caller, and obviously when information was actually sent out and instructions given was lacking, if not basically not there. So agencies were clamoring, I believe, at that time, and still are today, for looking at a protocol-based dispatch system for fire incidents because they are seldom used.